The night of April 14, 1912, the RMS Titanic glides across the North Atlantic, a floating palace on a calm, star-studded sea. On board, life is a dream. The air is filled with music, laughter, and a quiet hum of a marvel of engineering. For over 2,000 souls, this is a voyage of new beginnings, of hope, of luxury. The water is as still as glass, the sky a black velvet canvas. The cold air is crisp, but inside, the ship is a beacon of warmth and light. First-class passengers are enjoying post-dinner conversations, while down below in third class, the spirit is just as high, filled with dreams of a new life in America. Among them, a young artist named Jack has found something more precious than any first-class ticket: a love with Rose, a girl from a world entirely different from his own. Their connection is a spark of defiance against the rigid class structures of their time. For them, this journey isn't just about crossing an ocean, it's about crossing boundaries, finding a freedom they've never known. But in the crow's nest, high above the decks, to look out, stare into the freezing darkness. They are the eyes of the ship, searching for any hint of danger. The ocean is deceptively peaceful, the lack of waves making it incredibly difficult to spot ice. And lurking somewhere in that vast, dark expanse is a colossal mountain of ancient ice. Drifting silently, waiting. At 11:40 p.m., the comm is shattered. A lookout frantically rings the warning bell 3 times and phones the bridge. "Iceberg! Right ahead!" The words send a jolt through the command center. First Officer Murdoch orders the engines reversed and the ship turned hard to starboard. For a heart-stopping 37 seconds, the massive vessel begins to turn, agonizingly slowly. It seems like it might just miss, but it's too late. A horrifying, grinding shudder runs through the length of the ship. Many passengers feel it as a slight vibration, a minor disturbance. Some barely notice it at all. Down in the boiler rooms, however, it's a different story. Seawater bursts through a gash in the hull, a violent intrusion of the icy Atlantic. The sound is deafening, a monstrous tear of steel. The unsinkable ship has been mortally wounded. For Jack and Rose, this moment is a violent interruption of their own private world. They are on the forward deck, lost in the promise of their future together. The jolt is undeniable. It's a sudden, jarring stop to their dream. Confused, they see crew members running, hear faint shouts. The initial curiosity quickly turns to a quiet, creeping sense of dread. What was that? Was it serious? The ship's officers try to maintain calm, assuring passengers that there's nothing to worry about. But the slight list of the deck, the change in the engine's familiar rhythm, tells a different story. The carefree atmosphere of just moments ago begins to evaporate, replaced by a growing unease. People start emerging from their cabins, gathering on the decks, their faces a mixture of confusion and concern. The temperature seems to have dropped dramatically, and the silence of the stopped engines is more unnerving than any noise. The party is over. As water floods the forward compartments, the ship's designer, Thomas Andrews, makes a swift and terrible calculation. He informs Captain Smith that the Titanic can stay afloat with its first 4 compartments breached, but not 5. The iceberg has torn open 6. His verdict is stark and unbelievable. The Titanic will sink. He gives it an hour, maybe 2. This is the turning point, the moment when disbelief gives way to the terrifying truth. The order is given: women and children first. But there aren't enough lifeboats. The ship, designed to be its own lifeboat, carries only enough for about half the people on board. Panic begins to simmer beneath the surface of forced civility. The crew starts uncovering the lifeboats, a process that feels slow, almost surreal. The ship's band courageously begins to play, a brave attempt to soothe frayed nerves, their music a hauntingly beautiful soundtrack to the unfolding tragedy. Inspired by the story of Jack and Rose, We can imagine this moment of crisis igniting a different kind of strength. Rose, who was trapped in a life she despised, now faces a very real, immediate threat. But with Jack by her side, fear is mixed with a fierce determination. Their love, born in defiance of social rules, now becomes their anchor in a world tilting into chaos. Jack, with his street-smart survival instinct, and Rose, with her newfound courage, decide they will face this together. They refuse to be separated. This isn't just about saving themselves, it's about saving each other. Their priority shifts from escaping their old lives to simply surviving the night. While others panic or resign themselves to their fate, Jack and Rose's story becomes one of active struggle, of navigating the sinking ship not just as victims, but as fighters. They represent the human spirit's refusal to give up, even when the odds are impossible. Their love story transforms from a romantic tale into an epic of survival. As the bow of the Titanic sinks deeper, the angle of the decks becomes steeper. The scene descends into controlled chaos and then outright panic. The launching of the lifeboats is fraught with problems. Many are sent away half-empty, a tragic mistake born of confusion and the crew's inability to believe the ship is truly sinking. The class divide, so stark in life, becomes even more brutal in the face of death. Gates are locked, holding back third-class passengers from reaching the boat decks. Families are torn apart. The sounds are a symphony of horror. The roar of water, the creak of the groaning ship, the distant cries of those in the water, and the sharp crack of distress rockets lighting up the night sky unanswered. The ship's lights flicker, casting eerie shadows before going out for good, plunging the great vessel into darkness. The great stern rises out of the water, a black silhouette against the stars, holding people clinging desperately to the railings. Then, with a final, deafening roar of protesting metal, the Titanic breaks into and begins its final plunge into the abyss. Jack and Rose are among the hundreds who fall into the freezing water. The shock is instantaneous, a pain that takes the breath away. The ocean is a churning mass of debris and desperate people. In the chaos, Jack finds a piece of floating wreckage, a wooden door panel. He helps Rose onto it, but there's not enough room for both of them. He makes the ultimate sacrifice, choosing to stay in the water, holding onto the panel and to Rose's hand. He makes a promise she will survive, that she'll grow old, have a family, and die warm in her bed. His love for her is stronger than his own will to live. As hypothermia sets in, his grip loosens. He fades away into the dark water, leaving Rose with a promise to keep. She is rescued, a survivor, but forever changed. The story of the Titanic is a story of technological hubris, of class inequality, and of immense loss. But through the fictional lens of Jack and Rose, it also becomes an enduring testament to the power of love and the strength of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable tragedy. The night the Titanic sank, thousands of stories were lost to the deep, but some, real and imagined, continue to be told, reminding us of the fragility of life and the enduring power of human connection. Thanks for watching. If you found this story moving, please like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most compelling moments.